This week we have Pluto, planet of transformation and regeneration, turning back to direct motion. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, October 13th through Sunday, October 19th, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger here with your weekly intuitive reading. For this week, we'll be using the Animal Wise Tarot by Ted Andrews. This is going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Yin Yang Oracle deck by Stellara. So before we get into the crystals of choice for this week or talking about the astrology, let's go ahead, close our eyes, take a deep breath, exhale, and do an empowered moment. So you can start by visualizing peaceful and healing golden white light all around you. This is the golden white light of Source God, Great Spirit, all that is. And as you see or sense or feel or just know that you're surrounded in that beautiful but yet powerful golden white light, let's take a deep breath and breathe it into every cell of our bodies. And as you exhale, having the intention that you're releasing all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs. And this week, Pluto is the highlight, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, power and control, transformation, regeneration, transmutation, and rebirth. So this is where we need to take our power back. Think of an area of your life, a circumstance, a situation, even a mindset or a belief system, a pattern that maybe you keep repeating, where you need to take your power back. And visualize that golden white light that you're surrounded in from before, and feel it centering around your solar plexus chakra, that area just above the navel. This golden white light is forming a ball. And that ball of golden white light is spinning and turning, and it's balancing this chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your center of personal power. It's bringing healing to your solar plexus chakra and all of those patterns, karmic lessons that have to do with your inner sense of empowerment. Wherever it is that you might have had your power taken or restricted, or where you gave your power away. This is a time to reclaim it. So take a deep breath and feel your body kind of expand in your own inner empowerment. Feel your body as it sits up straight, holding yourself in an air of confidence and courage. Holding yourself in an energy of inner authority. And as you focus on this confidence and courage, this inner authority, this inner sense of empowerment, take a deep breath and breathe in that golden white light at the solar plexus chakra. Breathe it into the solar plexus. And as you exhale, expand out your appropriate and healthy inner personal power out into the world, out towards those circumstances and situations, out towards those patterns, mindsets, belief systems, and karmic lessons that revolve around giving your power away. Taking one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath, and know that that intention of you owning your power, reclaiming your power, merging with your inner power, is being realigned within your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. And as you feel ready, in your own time, you can open your eyes and return to this time and place and space. Let's go ahead and take a look at our stones of choice. These are special intention pendants. The first one is this beautiful lepidolite. See how reflective that is? It's actually a very light purple color, like the crown chakra, very light violet color. And this lepidolite is wrapped in silver wire. It's Reiki charged with the vibration of the number 7, the number of deep psychological connection to subconscious patterns and the healing of those patterns. The qualities of Pluto, the planet of transformation and transition and transmutation of lower vibrational energies and thoughts. The energies of the element of water for gentle flowing release and emotional healing. The energies of Archangel Raphael, Archangel of healing the emotional and physical bodies, and Archangel Haniel, the Archangel of intuitive, psychic, and healing abilities. And it also has Ascended Master Saint Germain infused into this one, the Ascended Master who uses the violet flame of transmutation, which of course is going to help to transmute lower vibrational emotions, thoughts, patterns, belief systems from your body, mind, and energy field. Let's look at the second stone of choice. This one is deep dark blue goldstone. I know it looks like it's black, but it's just this very deep, rich, kind of indigo blue color. And it's wrapped in gold wire and Reiki charged with a vibration of master number 11, number of clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, and master number 11 also being the energy of the light worker. The qualities of Neptune, planet Neptune, the planet of other dimensions of time and space. This one has the activation of the throat chakra, ear chakras, third eye chakra, and crown chakras for speaking one's truth, hearing guidance, receiving visions, and opening to the higher dimensions. And Archangel Michael's energy infused into this one for protection on one's path forward. And Archangel Metatron for connection to one's Akashic records, as well as to our star brothers and sisters of the highest vibration of light. And our last stone of choice is this gorgeous pink rhodochrosite cabochon. Cabochon meaning it has a flat back to it. It's like a slice of rhodochrosite. It's wrapped in silver wire, Reiki charged with the vibration of the number 2, number of balance and equality and partnerships, and with the vibration also of the number 9, number of unconditional love and compassion. It has infused into it the energies of both Libra and Scorpio for the energies of partnerships and the energetic merging with another, the qualities of planet Venus, the planet of love, romance, and relationships. This one has infused into it Goddess Aphrodite, Goddess of love, beauty, and passion, and with Archangel Shamuel's energy of assisting one in finding a fulfilling soulmate relationship, and we could add bringing healing to an existing soulmate relationship. All right, so the stones of choice are that beautiful light purple, I was going to say amethyst, it's lepidolite, amethyst colored lepidolite. Stone number 2 is the blue gold stone, and stone number 3 is the rhodochrosite. So let's talk about the astrology for the week. We've got a lot going on with Libra energies this week. On Monday, the 13th of October, Venus, planet of love and relationships, as well as personal resources, such as money and finances. Venus also rules our values and our sense of self-worth. She's moving into Libra, and she'll be in Libra until November 6th. And so the focus again is on the Libra balance and harmony and cooperation and compromise and equal give and take that Venus would like in partnerships, and what she'd also like within her resources. And as far as sense of self-worth, right? Venus rules how we value ourselves and our sense of self-worth. This is about really focusing on attaining a good balance, right? A good balance in that. And then after Venus moves into Libra on Monday the 13th, she's going to be in an opposition or opposing the planet Neptune, who is currently retrograde in the sign of Aries, getting ready to move retrograde back into Pisces, but still currently is in Aries. Now, Neptune on the shadow side rules illusion, delusion, and confusion, but on the positive side rules all aspects of the spiritual realm, rules miracles, it rules spiritual inspiration, unconditional love, compassion. And so Venus in Libra opposing Neptune in Aries, it's all about, again, finding that balance in relationships and having that desire to pull in and magnetize to you that unconditional love, that compassion, that kind of romance, that romantic but yet unconditional love that we're looking for. Now, again, remember that you don't want to fall into the trap of illusion, delusion, or confusion. An opposition can play out, well, it does play out with other people. This could actually be an aspect of falling head over heels in love. But again, we have to be careful we're not wearing rose-colored glasses. Also, in an existing relationship, we want to be sure that we're seeing things clearly, and sometimes Neptune can keep things a little bit fuzzy. On the other hand, this is a very romantic energy, a very blessed energy. Again, these miraculous happenings can occur. So, it depends on what side of Neptune we're working with here. So stay in your balance. Take off the rose-colored glasses if that, is indicated for you in whatever situation or circumstance you're in, but also be open to miracles and magic. And then on also Monday, the 13th, Monday's a busy day, we've got Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, power and control, transformation, regeneration, transmutation, transition, and it's going direct at 1 degree of Aquarius. It's been retrograde for a few months now. It only started its retrograde motion at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and now it's turning direct at 1 degree of Aquarius. It doesn't move very far, very fast. So this is going to be about that reclamation of power. This is going to be about allowing huge transformational energies to unfold in your life as you go forward. In fact, when a planet is direct, things happen on an outer and external level most of the time. Whereas with Pluto being retrograde for the last few months, it was more about this inner shift that was going on. This idea of reclaiming our power and going through an inner transformational shift. Now that energy of Pluto can be kind of pushed outward into the environment, into the world, into the collective, into our outer circumstances and situations. And again, just think death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration, and huge, huge changes. And we've been feeling this by the way, for a couple of weeks now as Pluto's been slowing down. So this is just boom when it goes direct. On Tuesday the 14th, we're back to Venus in Libra. And Venus in Libra is making a beautiful Grand Trine to Uranus, the Great Awakener, the planet of change and redirection, who is in air sign Gemini. And Venus in air sign Libra is also making a positive trine to Pluto that just went direct yesterday, Monday the 13th. And Pluto, of course, is in Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. So this is a grand trine in air. This is about thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, communication, information, messages. And again, I feel like the time could be ripe between Venus opposing Neptune and making this beautiful harmonious grand trine to Uranus that is about liberation and change and redirection, and Pluto, transition and transformation and rebirth. this can be the start of something new in relationship. Again, maybe meeting somebody new. Maybe it's the start within an existing relationship potentially. Maybe it's the start with how you look at and perceive relationships. Maybe you've been single and grieving a past relationship for quite some time, and now you feel ready. You feel ready to rebirth this energy of relationships and how you look at and view relationships and what you want to experience in relationships, and you're ready to kind of open that door and move forward. And then on Thursday the 16th, now we're going to focus on the sun in Libra for the next couple of days. The sun is how we shine our light. It is our creative self-expression. It is our ego, and the sun, which rules our sense of individual ego, is in Libra, the sign of partnerships. So the focus, for the month while the sun is in Libra is on those relationships. On Thursday, the 16th, the sun in Libra is challenging Jupiter, which is in Cancer right now. Jupiter is about expansion and growth, and it can be about exaggeration. It can be about abundance, prosperity, blessings, and opportunities. This is a challenging square connection, so there might be something about relationships or surrounding relationships that we're blowing out of proportion. I also feel like it's important to look at your belief systems about relationships because Jupiter rules belief systems, and I feel like those belief systems that we're looking at might come from the home and family that we grew up in because Jupiter is in Cancer that rules home and family. Either that, we also might be dealing with something a little challenging with our relationships with like mother, father, sister, brother, or any of those people in our lives that we consider part of our family, our very close emotional family. So there might be something that's being blown out of proportion. There might be something that is exaggerated, something that is, I feel like there could be blessings that come, but through some sort of challenge as well with that square. But this is a time to look at things from a different and higher perspective because Jupiter's in the mix. So whether it's about a one-on-one relationship or family relationships or a close friendship relationship, make sure that you're shifting the perspective if need be, looking at the bigger picture and kind of moving through things with a sense of what am I learning from? How am I growing from this situation? What am I learning from this? And then on Friday the 17th, the sun in Libra is opposing Chiron, the wounded healer, the ruler of past life wounds or this life wounds and traumas. And again, an opposition usually plays out with other people. Chiron is Aries. In Aries, the sign of the individual. The sun is in Libra, the sign of relationships. And so there's something playing out within our relationships where there's healing that needs to take place. Or maybe the healing is within ourselves regarding our ideas and, again, thoughts, perspectives about how you operate as an individual within your relationships. Maybe there's something that needs to be, healed in that matter so that you have a better sense of self, a better sense of your individuality, a better sense of being self-sufficient, when need be, and knowing who you are when you do merge your energy in some sort of partnership with another, whether that be a romantic friendship or even business partnership. And then on Sunday the 19th, the sun in Libra is in a difficult inconjunct to Saturn, great teacher of karmic lessons, who's retrograde right now in Pisces. So when Saturn started its retrograde cycle, it started out in Aries, the sign of the individual, but it's now been retrograde for a little while, and it's popped back into that last sign of the zodiac where I feel like we're doing a big last cleanse or purge, right? Saturn is that teacher of karmic lessons. What am I learning from this situation or that circumstance that seems to keep repeating itself as a repeating pattern in my life? How can I take responsibility? How can I restructure within myself or outside of myself what's unfolding and what's going on? And again, in Pisces, it can bring some confusion. It can bring a need to surrender and a need to have faith and trust that whatever is occurring is in your soul's higher soul self best interest. So again, this has to do with relationship stuff. Most everything that's happening this week, aside from Pluto turning direct, is regarding relationship. And on Sunday, after the sun makes its difficult connection to Saturn, we also have Mercury, which rules the mental realm, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, communications, in the depths of Scorpio, which likes to dig down deep to the root of things. And it's connecting to Mars, the warrior, planet of energy, action, and forward movement, who is also in Scorpio right now. This is very passionate energy. So you might have a passionate idea right now, or maybe you're having a passionate communication with other people. Maybe you're researching things that are hidden right now, something that you need to know more about, because Scorpio rules what's hidden and likes to kind of, again, dig down deep to research and understand, bring things out into the open a little bit. Now, Scorpio can be pretty intense. And so if you are having communications with other people, there can be sometimes intense communication. Scorpio can even kind of merge into some frustrations or anger. So we want to kind of avoid that. And let's just focus on more of this idea of this passionate energy, and focus on, what do I really need to know and understand? And maybe what you need to know and understand is something within your own psyche, because Scorpio does rule kind of like the subconscious, the psyche, things that are hidden, those patterns that we kind of play out unconsciously. And I think Mars is kind of activating, sort of bringing them more into the consciousness field, because Mercury does rule our consciousness. And Scorpio is kind of the unconscious. So let's bring some of these shadow patterns, if you will, into our consciousness so we can passionately move through shifting, changing, transforming those energies. Since Scorpio is about death and rebirth, that would be a really good thing to do with that aspect. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. So the first card here is Major Arcana 6, and it is the Lovers. So not surprising that we see the Lovers card show up with Venus in Libra, the Sun in Libra, sign of relationships and partnerships. In the Animal Wise Tarot, it is the bee. Bees can sting us, but bees also pollinate flowers, right? And just as it says down at the bottom, fertility and spiritual choice. So the fertilizing the flowers is one of the things that bees do, right? So it's that fertility aspect that kind of comes into play, which can be about birthing something new, perhaps in relationship. But again, going back to that shadow aspect of the bee, it can sting us if we're not careful as well. Now, spiritual choice, it says at the bottom. The Lovers in the traditional tarot is often about choices and decisions. And oftentimes, again, does have to deal with relationships. That's why it's called the Lovers. So you might be faced with needing to make a decision in a relationship, about a relationship, with a partner, about a partner. There's choices here, kind of like options, right? In the traditional tarot, the Lovers card is ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is the sign of the twins. And so we're like this way or that way, this choice or that choice, so you might be faced with, maybe two options that you have to weigh out carefully and decide which is most appropriate for you at this time. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next card here. The next card is the King of Ancients. This is like the King of Wands, the King of Fire, the King of Flames. It is the Cobra. And the Cobra is a pretty powerful snake, isn't it? And at the bottom it says swift, sudden decisions and actions. So this is like, I think, Pluto turning to direct motion. It's like that powerful force of the Cobra. If it strikes, it's going to strike quick and fast and swift. And so we really have to, I think, be mindful that as Pluto shifts to direct motion, there's going to be this kind of inner power, inner empowerment that's been building up that then can be kind of extended outward into our external circumstances and situations. This may be about needing to take the lead, right? It's the king of wands, the king of fire. We need to be passionate. We need to be quick. We need to be creative. We need to be confident. We need to be courageous in making a choice, in making these decisions. It's interesting that we said the Lover's card can be about decisions and choices. And this is saying we need to make it swiftly, clearly, and in a very definitive manner, right? Because when the cobra strikes, it doesn't strike slowly. It strikes quick and fast. This could be, let's just say it's about career and job. Maybe an opportunity presents itself. You need to strike while the iron is hot. You need to say, yes, I'll do it. If somebody says, hey, do you want to be part of this project? Yes, no doubt, no hesitation. Let's do it. This, again, could also be about relationships or other aspects of your life where it's that very, again, kind of a need, like from a soul level, a need to make a very quick and definitive choice here. Remember that, the flames, the wands is very creative and passionate energy. So again, we kind of talked about passion with that Pluto, that passionate energy, that powerful energy. So this is a very kind of powerful energy dynamic here. Let's look at the last card. The last card is Major Arcana 16, and this is the Tower card with the vulture. At the bottom it says life, death, and rebirth, new vision. Well, this is Pluto for sure. Pluto turning direct can take that, powerful energy and force it out into the environment. This can be on a collective level. It can also be, though, on a personal level. The vulture as an animal totem is about death and rebirth and transmutation of old energies. I remember not too long ago, it was when we had the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces in September. I was on one of my nature walks or outdoor walks, and a vulture was standing on the road right in front of me. And I walked very slowly up to it. It did not fly away. And so I knew the vulture was a totem for me at that time. And I did go through quite this kind of death and rebirth experience on a physical body level because of that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces that occurred. So this is kind of the cleanup crew. It's like, okay, let's clean things up. The tower is coming in and saying, the rug might be pulled out from under you. There might be some quick, sudden, unexpected event or circumstance that knocks you sideways. Usually something occurs without you initiating it, although there are some times where we can initiate a tower-like energy where you're kind of ahead of the game intuitively and you're like, oh, I know that I need to leave this job or career and I need to move into something different. And you can initiate that, but oftentimes with the tower, this is something that's sort of unexpected to us. It comes, again, a little bit out of the blue. We didn't see it coming oftentimes, but there's rebirth. Whatever is happening, whatever is occurring, it's so that something new can take its place, so that there can be a rebirth that kind of comes in, a renewal that kind of takes place. And know that there are some possible time periods where it's not circumstantial. Usually the tower is circumstantial as far as the sudden and unexpected, but it can be some big shift within yourself too. Like you're having a tower card moment, a revelation, an aha moment. So it can be this internal shift. Again, just like it says at the bottom, you have a new way of looking at something, new insights, new vision. Again, that revelation and aha moment that kind of comes into play. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the special message card, depending on the stone of choice. So let's give this a little shuffle. And the first stone of choice was the lepidolite. So a special message for the week for people that chose lepidolite. Lepidolite. This one is calling my attention, actually. Wow, you did get rebirth, but the rebirth may take a little bit of time yet. Have a little bit of patience. It seems like the rebirth might be in the winter time. Now that would be Northern Hemisphere people. Winter officially starts December 21st when we have the winter solstice and lasts until, what would that be, March 20th or March 19th or 20th, right? That's the winter season. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, you're just entering your summertime, because now you're in your springtime. So your winter is a little bit further away than those in the northern hemisphere. But know that for those of you that chose the lepidolite, there is a rebirth happening, right? The winter is kind of the silent time, the solitude time, the time of self-reflection, the time of inner healing, the time of surrendering and allowing for the death of the old to take place. Just like in the winter season, right? The trees don't have leaves anymore. The grass is covered with snow. The plants aren't growing. It's that kind of metaphoric death time period before the rebirth time period occurs. So know that once we're through winter time, there's going to be some sort of rebirth in your life, or rebirth in a situation, rebirth aspect of yourself, maybe rebirth in the area of relationships, since we had so much dealing with Libra energy this week. All right. And they're holding almost like a crystal ball, but you can see the trees through it. Or maybe it's a round quartz crystal ball. So what popped into my mind was something about clarity. Receiving clear insights and receiving clarity during this time. And you could call it a metaphoric time of self-reflection or self-discovery, rather than it being about the actual season of winter. But there's some sort of clarity that we have to gain here. And I feel like the clarity is coming because the sun is being reflected through this kind of crystal ball, through these trees here. So starting to see the light through the confusion maybe, or through what was blocking the clarity. It's now going to start to come in. Let's put that back in the deck in case somebody else gets it. Second stone of choice was the blue gold stone. So give this a little shuffle. Special message for this week for the blue gold stone people. This one's calling my attention right here. So this one comes up as limitations and fears. This to me has to do with that Saturn energy. It can be a little bit of Pluto too, right? Pluto can be our subconscious fears and anxieties. Saturn is at play a little bit later in the week with the sun in Libra, and Saturn can bring up limitations and feelings of restrictions and karmic lessons. And so this person is kind of looking, I don't know if that's a mirror that she's looking into or outside the windows behind her. So maybe this is like some sort of portal of energy, right? And there's a hand reaching out from like that portal or that mirror. So she's seeing something being reflected to her. Her own fears are being reflected to her through a situation or circumstance. Her insecurities are maybe being reflected to her through maybe certain relationship dynamics this week. But she's staring it straight with, face on, isn't she? She's not turning away. She's not running away. She's just looking at that hand that's coming out of that portal, and she's just staring it down. And she's like, nope, I'm going to look at it straight in the face. I'm going to look at it with like eyes looking forward. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to turn around and backtrack. I'm going to move forward, and I have to face my fears. I have to face my insecurities. I have to move through any limitations or restrictions that I am feeling or experiencing in order to get on the other side of whatever situation that she's going through. I feel like we need a clarity card for this one. So I'm just going to pull clarification, more information for the limitations, fears, how to move through them or how to get through them. Let's pull that. So it looks like we need a little bit of distance from it. It says take a time out. It says retreat or time out, distance. So we need a little bit of time. We need to have patience right now. We need to give ourselves, again, a time out from whatever is facing the fears and the insecurities that we're facing or the limitations. Go and do something fun. Go and do something relaxing. Sleep a little longer. Go on a weekend travel vacation. Go visit a friend or have lunch with a friend. This is about not getting so immersed in it that it's all you can think about 24/7. This is like, again, let's take a step back from this. Let's give ourselves a little bit of distance from this. Remember, whatever the fears and insecurities are all about is just an illusion anyway. An illusion, yes, it's playing out in our 3D life, but this is something that our soul chose to experience so that we could move through something, grow through something, take our power back from something, okay? Whether that be an energy or a situation. And so right now, just give yourself, again, that little bit of time and make sure that whatever the situation is not the only thing that you're kind of focusing on right now. Give it like, put it on the side for a little bit of time. Not sweep it under the rug entirely, because we do need to look at it. But again, don't dwell on it like a hamster on a hamster wheel, right? Give ourselves a little bit of space from it, I guess. All right, and then the last stone of choice was the rhodochrosite. I had to think of what the name was. All right, rhodochrosite people. Special message for the week for rhodochrosite people. This one's calling my attention right here. Ooh, this says until debt tear us apart. Wow, that's pretty heavy. Contracts, career, commitments, and look at that. Saturn's right here on the bottom. So Saturn is the planet of karmic debts, right? This doesn't mean that your money's going to go away or you're going to have some sort of financial debt. I think this is speaking to our karmic lessons, right? Those karmic lessons, like in numerology, we call them karmic debt numbers. So it's like a karmic debt from a previous lifetime, a karmic lesson from another lifetime that we come in with in this lifetime to heal it, to release it and let it go. And I feel like that's what we're doing, right? So we don't want the debt to tear us apart, with that heavy phrase at the top here. We want to maybe release or tear up the contract or heal it and let it go and commit to something new, commit to something different. Saturn is about structure and form. So this can be about restructuring your life, restructuring your mind, restructuring whatever those karmic lessons were. It doesn't mean we have to carry them around for the rest of our lives. It means, okay, have I learned the lesson? Yeah, I've learned the lesson. Okay, Saturn, I'm done with that lesson. Thank you very much. I'm letting it go now so that I can restructure my life and pull in and rewrite my dharma. I'm going to rewrite this whole story for myself, and I'm going to move forward in a new, better, brighter, optimistic way. This could also have something to do, like it says, career, right? So maybe Saturn does rule career and life purpose. So this could definitely mean that, again, maybe the career path, the life path, the destiny path, who you have been out in the world, maybe it's coming to completion and closure. Maybe that karmic debt is fulfilled, right? If you love your job, then fine. Doesn't mean you have to leave your job if you love your job. But if you don't love your job and you're not passionate about it, and you've been thinking for a while that maybe I'd like to move into something different and better, I'm not sure what it is, or maybe you do know what it is. I feel like this might be the time where there's a shift. And if it's not specifically career, remember the life path and life purpose can be much bigger than just our career. Is bigger than the job, bigger than the career is the life purpose. The highest point of attainment that your soul can experience is really what that top of the chart in astrology is all about. So let's do some restructuring. Let's take responsibility for going back here to the choices and decisions that we need to make in our lives to realign ourselves with the best and most highest experience that we can experience, that we desire to experience. Okay? So let's rewrite the story. Okay? All right. Okay, everybody. I think that's it, right? Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of your love and comments and support. Sending you all lots of love and light. Remember, I do personal readings and healing sessions, so check out my website, my services. I do classes, workshops, which there's things coming up here, so you might want to check that out. They're all listed on my website or in my meetup group page, which is under Sacred Soul Empowerment in Meetup. So sending you all many, many blessings, and I will see you again next week. Namaste, everyone.